Hello. I had a couple of really nice comments regarding the last couple of videos that I've done, particularly when I said everything that we go through is temporary. And it's so important to remember that, this too shall pass, and it does pass. We do move on past and through whatever we're going through. It's really important to remember that. All right, darling, can you get over there, please, on your couch? I'm going to have a Slurpee. Move. Thank you. For instance, if you, well, in 5 years' time, will you remember what you did yesterday or the day before? A lot of people can't remember what they did this time last week because life blurs, and it blurs because it's very mundane and it's very, very samey for a lot of people. And that is why I try and live my life more on my terms and enjoy my happy days, the happiest days that I can kind of manufacture for myself and create for myself, so that I do remember where I was this time last year or 5 years ago. Another way of looking at it is if you think about a time when you was upset 5 years ago, does that really matter now? And we go through these stages, don't we, of worry or regret or, problems and things like that. And it becomes all encompassing, it becomes a big thing in our lives, and then we look back on it 5 years later and think, well, what was that about? So it's really important to remember that this too shall pass, life is temporary, And like I say, if you can't remember what you did yesterday or the day before, things need changing, I wonder how much you're in control of your own life. How much control, how much input have you put into your life to creating a place where you're at now? There's a lot that we can do really in our lives, and a lot of it, for me, a lot of it is pulling back, and doing things my way and not giving a shit what people think or say or do. It doesn't matter, Again, I could think 5 years ago what somebody did or said or thought or whatever. How much does that matter now? Nil. So if somebody thinks something now of me today, in 5 years' time, I'm not even going to remember it. So I'm not going to hold that, I'm not going to give that any headspace at all, what somebody does or says or thinks, apart from myself. Because I'll remember what I was doing 5 years' time. Doesn't matter what they think, whoever they are, But for me, I pull back. And what I mean by that is, we've spoken before about my sort of reclusive nature and what have you. It's a very important thing for me really, is to spend quality time, doing what I love to do, creating my life, my little bubble around me, if you like. I don't like a lot of outside influences. I get slightly affected by them, same as everybody, but I have created a bit of a bubble, a bit of a buffer around me really. And I know what's important in my life. And I don't need to hold on to the outside influences really. It's not important, So I think maybe it's a good lesson in life, isn't it? To think, where were you 5 years' time? How were you feeling? And more importantly, in 5 years, will you remember yesterday? And if not, why not? That's your history, that's part of your being, it's part of your life. Was it just another day? Just a day of getting up, shower, go to work, come home tired, go to bed? Was it that day? And if it was that day, what could you do about it? Is there anything you can do about it? You've got to work, you've got to shower, you've got to eat, and you've got to go to bed. We know all that. Is there anything that you could have injected into your life? Could you have phoned an old friend and just had a chat on the phone, 20 minutes? Could you have done that? Could you have made it a special day in some way? Could you have stopped on the way home and brought your partner a little gift? Just out of the blue. Just something different. We get controls and we get, I suppose we're programmed. We're programmed to think and believe a different way. And as I say, I'm at fault as well because I get involved in nonsense, silliness and what have you, you know. There's a particular thing, this is on Facebook, there's a particular group and it's about caravan sites, camping sites, and somebody put, you know, there's still 2 available, you know, it's £22 a night, and I shouldn't have even said anything and just moved on. £22 a night. Now I pay £25 for the week for 7 nights, and I said £22 in the winter, what do you charge in the summer? And this person came back and said, it's a flat rate all year, just £22. I said, just like that. Then I started to get the abuse like people do, you know, I think that's very good value. So I said, you know, this is a guy who said that, I think that's very good value, £22 a night. And I said, you know, I'm paying £3.50 a night, I think that's good value. And he came back with nonsense like, oh, some people want everything for nothing. So I said, yeah, and some people like me just like a bargain. You know, why pay £22 if you can pay £3? You know, in the summer, I was on a couple of different sites, and I paid £7.20 per night on one and £7.60 per night on another. And again, just the abuse started flowing from people, you know, because are they embarrassed that they've been paying 20 odd pounds when they could be paying 3 or 4 or 7? You know, is that what it is? Or are they so conditioned and so programmed now just to argue, or just to say, oh, that's fine, £22 is fine, I can't think for myself? You know, what is it? I've no idea. But whatever it is, it shouldn't be affecting me. And I mean, now it doesn't, obviously, because I let things go very, very quickly. But at the time, I found myself kind of arguing my case that if I'm going to pay for a site, I want it as cheap as possible. You know, and then somebody else came on there, it was a woman, and she said, we pay £28 a night at so-and-so, wherever that was, but now we're paying £18 a night, and that is a bargain. That's what she said. So I said, it's actually not a bargain. I'm in another group, you know, and it's under £10 per night, regardless of how many people as well. That's per pitch. So if there's a family of 4 and it's under £10, it can't go above the £10. And there's loads of places like that. But people just ignored that and they just started piling it on. That's a bargain. Well done you know, £22 a night is a bargain. Yeah, well, that's fine. You know, I suppose, you know, a lot of these people with nice caravans, nice motorhomes, they use them once a year or whatever. So if they're going to be ripped off, they're not bothered at all. You know, they're just glad to get the caravan or the motorhome off the drive for a couple of nights. And if 2 nights cost 44 quid, they're quite happy with that. 44 quid for a couple of nights. You know, but we're not all in that position. But why do we argue about this nonsense? You know, I wasn't arguing, I was just kind of stating my case, but I felt that I was being drawn in, and I just kept it nice, you know. I just said, well, for me it's a bargain, and, you know, we all do our own thing, really, you know. But we do get involved in that, and if we're looking at the questions that I just said, you know, in 5 years' time, will you remember yesterday? Or in 5, you know, now, will you remember in last 5 years, you know, when you were upset or angry or bitter or whatever, how much does that you know, bother you now? Well, it doesn't, does it? Obviously, you know. So it's all about time and what have you. That's what I'm talking about, really. And this too shall pass, this temporary time, you know. So my time, a little bit of my time last night was spent not arguing, but trying to justify myself and trying to back people off a little bit because they wanted to draw me in to this argument and stuff like that, and I thought, this is my time, you know. So I suppose the message of this video is to watch your time. You know, your time is the most precious asset that you have. It's running out, it runs out for all of us, we know that. So how are you going to spend your time today? Who with and what doing? It's so important to think about your time, you know, and to give any time to something so negative as arguing on Facebook, or arguing in real life, or being upset about things that perhaps you either can't control or they're beyond your control, so that you don't really need to bother with them, just let them float away. You know, time is important, isn't it, really? As I say, it's our most precious thing we have, you know. And we go to work, and what that means is that you're selling your time to your boss. That is what we get paid for, our time, which is our life. So you sell a small chunk of your life to your boss. So therefore, how much is that chunk of time worth? Because you can never get it back. You know, this is your life now. So you're giving your life away, you're selling your life. So is it worth £10 an hour, your life, or £100 an hour? We live in a world where you're not going to get £100 an hour unless you're a politician or the Queen or a footballer. It's ridiculous, isn't it? This world has really turned upside down. It's right on its arse. It's crazy. The people out there, you know, the lifeboatmen or firemen or nurses, should be on £1,000 an hour. And a politician, which is, it's kind of a vocation, it's a bit like a vicar. They believe in all this nonsense. They should be doing it, if not for free, they should be doing it for a livable wage, whatever that might be this day and age, 20 grand a year, something like that. But yeah, you go to work and you sell a portion of your life you can't ever get back. And we have to do it, so therefore we've got to make the most of it, really, and try and do it in a mindful way and try and enjoy every moment as much as we possibly can. But again, that is a temporary situation, isn't it? Because you won't work there forever, your boss won't be there forever, and you won't be selling chunks of your life forever, because things do change. Anyway, just a bit of a rambling video that was, wasn't it, really? Just kind of emptying my head about a few little things, really. But I do find with myself that people want me to justify myself. And that's a ridiculous situation, surely. Why would we? Why should we? You know? And I keep trying not to, and I keep pulling back a little bit, you know, and I just say, oh, well, that's fine. You know, believe what you want to believe. You know, but part of me wants to sort of really get in there and start saying nonsense, really. But that is my life, a chunk, a portion of my life spent trying to justify myself, you know. So, you know, I did about maybe 6 months ago, something like that, particularly on Facebook. I got rid of several groups, and I think in the new year I'll get rid of even more. So I've got very little on there apart from the stuff that really does feed my soul. There's some lovely people out there, some lovely groups out there, and all the rest of it. But you know, we shouldn't really be on groups that we're trying to justify ourselves, you know. And if you're on a group and everybody is saying, and when I say everybody, you know, like 40 comments last night, and apart from myself, everybody was saying, wow, what a bargain. Oh, £22 a night. What a bargain. You know, perhaps they're all of that mindset. Perhaps they all live in £1 million house, and I don't know what it is, really. You know, but should I be there trying to justify myself when people are trying to draw me into an argument? You know, and this guy said, oh, some people want nothing, you know, want everything for nothing. I never said that, you know. And I just said, yeah, I said, some people like me, you know, we like a bargain. So I tried to keep it light and airy and fluffy and stuff like that, but the inner seething happens sometimes, you know, when you deal with these sort of brain dead arseholes. And that's the point I'm getting to, you know, the groups that I'm in, some of the groups I'm in, they're brain dead arseholes. I can't now spend any more of my time, my portion of life, on these brain dead arseholes. Just can't do it, you know. So in the new year, you know, I'll continue to make videos. I'll continue to do my art. I'll have my art channel. I'll have Just Being Bright. And I'll be on just a few groups that I really do enjoy on Facebook. You know, then that way it's not detracting from what I really enjoy, you know, because I do enjoy the internet as a whole. I enjoy YouTube, I enjoy Facebook to a degree. And there's a few other things that I do. I don't do a great deal actually on the net, but I do enjoy what I enjoy. So therefore I'm not going to, the old saying isn't there, cut your nose off to spite your face, you know. I like certain things. My big thing really is I like documentaries, I like poetry, I like all manner of things really. I like some quirky, weird little things that I watch sometimes on YouTube as well. You know, I like looking back at the old times on YouTube. I like all sorts, like Native American Indians, and I like little chats sometimes on Buddhism and spirituality and just life in general. To me, that's not wasted, you know. You can view it how you want to view it, and that's fine. That depends on where you're coming from, you know. To me, that's a good time, you know, and it's a good. I'm giving my life over to it, admittedly, but I don't mind doing that. And it's like the old saying, isn't it? A walk in nature is never wasted time. To me, that's a big thing. I absolutely 100% agree. A bimble in nature, yes, it's a portion of your life and it's time that you can never get back. I don't want that time back. I don't want it, because it's absolutely magical to me, you know. So we've got to live life on our own terms, and part of me creating my world, my life, is nature. A big, big element, a big thing in my life is nature. So it's never a wasted time, you know. But I'm going to look in January time in the new year, and I'm going to look at where I do waste my time and try and change that a little bit, you know. And I'll certainly be pulling away from some of the groups I'm in, definitely, because, as I say, to try and justify yourself and to get into, or nearly get into little arguments with people that they're total strangers to me. They've got a different point of view, and I can accept their point of view, and I just say, you know, £22 a night, that's fine, but, you know, I wouldn't pay it. And then they come on with all this rubbish, so they want to get me into some sort of argument. Well, I don't bother with that. But what a waste of time that is. You can't change people's minds, really. You can't change their opinions. If they're of a closed mind, you can't. I change my opinion on a daily basis about things. If something wakes me up even further, then I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful that life has taught me this lesson, or somebody has taught me a lesson. I think, wow, I didn't look at it that way. So I'm very, very grateful. But it's just having an open mind. But I think there's so many people with closed minds now, or you know, they're incapable of rational thought. They just go down one set path, you know. And again, you know, thinking about the caravan site or whatever, that is their path. They've always paid 20 odd quid a night. They always will, regardless of what anybody says. And anybody who says, you know, you can get that cheaper, they just attack. And then that's it, you know, that's how they are. Very sad, isn't it, really? Very sad. You know, if somebody said to me, you can get this cheaper or whatever, I'd go and get it. You know, an outdated, overpriced bloody thing is coffee, you know, these days. So I go to two particular shops and I buy my coffee. I still buy good quality coffee, but I buy it at half price than you would find in somewhere like Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Tesco's, whatever, you know. So And I have to make an effort to go there, and I go there once a month. I get 4 or 5 jars of Slurpee, and away we go, you know. No, I didn't really know about that until just a few years back. So I make that concerted effort now to go there and pick it up, you know. And I don't know whether somebody told me or whether I just saw it or I don't know, whatever, you know. But I'm very grateful that I know that, because I drink quite a lot of Slurpee. And rather than paying £6.50 for a jar, I'm paying £2.28, £2.38 for a jar, you know. So that's a big saving in my life, isn't it, really? And when I started this life, you know, I was buying Cala gas bottles at £22, and it took me a year to find it, but I found Flow Gas in the end at £13. Actually, that's gone up. It's £14.05 now. Right, so we have to get that right. I think it's 23 quid for Cala or £14.05 for Flow Gas, and they deliver free anywhere in the country. But you know, it took me a while to find that. Know whether somebody told me, whether I can't remember. It's been a long, long time, but I'm very, very grateful again. So I changed my way of thinking on whatever comes to me. And why would we carry on paying 20 odd pounds for a bottle of gas when you can get it for 13? And it does exactly the same, keeps us warm and cooks our food. Why would you continue to do that? I don't know. Just to end the video, an ex-friend of mine, female ex-friend of mine, insured her car when she was 17, 18 with the AA. I spoke to her a couple of years ago, and she's about 50, and we were on about stuff, and she said, I'm so bloody skint. And I said, have you looked into, I don't know, changing your credit cards, or have you got any debts that you could put all into one? And she was on about, oh, this cripples me and that cripples me. She said, bloody car insurance is ridiculous. I said, who are you with? She said, oh, the AA, I always have been. I said, how much do you pay? Anyway, she said what her car was and what she paid, and I said, bloody hell. And I went on the laptop, and I phoned her up. I said, look, your car insurance, you can get it half price, literally 50% off. And she said, oh no, I'll stick with the AA, I know them. Okay. Take care then. It's a bit of a damp day today. Be well.